Welcome to the end of Season 1 of Bits of Time, where we take a video game and see if it's worth your time. So we're going to recap this entire season. We're going to go through what we thought our favorite games were. We're going to kind of have some guessing. It's just going to be a celebration of the games. So thank you for being here. And of course, we're drinking a beer with it, because we're in celebration.
Cheers, brother. I'm Larry. That's Mike.
Yes, I have no intro today. I am the beer drinker, Michael.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking a Mexican-style chocolate stout with pumpkin puree.
Ooh.
Pumpkin Sombrero by Clown Shoes. Just so
you
you're
should be
aware.
doing that during Halloween.
Yes, this is a very out of season while we're recording, but that's all right.
Yeah, I have the Cabin Crusher, which actually you recommended for me here. So
It's a lime lager.
it's brewed
I
here in
believe.
St. Paul.
Oh, yeah. We're from Minnesota, if you didn't know.
I suppose. Didn't even think about that as I said it.
Oh, you know what, that Duluth comment? Maybe somebody picked it up, but that's okay.
That's a good point. Yeah, I did say that. That was the last episode, right?
Yeah. So, welcome to the end.
It's like positively depressing.
So, in this season, I finished 11 of the 12 games. 2 games I 100% completed. One of them was Bowser's Fury. The other one was 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Out of those games, the games I thought that are worth your time, my time, which might be, if you aligned with me this season, you probably think similar. Zelda the Minish Cap, Fire Lone Sails, Streets of Rage 4, Shadows of Adam, Bomberman Hero is very subjective to Larry, Mega Man Legends, and 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. So 7 of the 12 games, I think. I am in limbo between Quake and Sonic still, but 7 of my 12, those are cemented in time as worth your time. Cemented in time is, yeah, that works. Hey, what do you know?
Yeah, well, I'm running at a little bit lower course than you. I actually have 3 that I put down as games that I believe I would recommend playing, and 2 of those I beat fully, and the other one is my curiosity pick because it's the interest that I did not realize I'd be interested in, 13 Sentinels. The other 2 were Far Lone Sails and Streets of Rage 4.
Sweet.
So this was a rough season.
Well, our Larry is just a curmudgeon. So 3 of 12, nice.
Yeah. How many hours total did you spend playing?
So, out of all those games, I spent 103 hours playing games from Season 1.
Okay, that is really, really fitting, which I actually wonder. So for me, it's the Ascent is the thing that threw my numbers up because I was at 28, 29 hours. I can't remember.
In that game, yeah.
Yeah. But so total for the season, I played 50 hours and 33 minutes.
Really?
So I had a couple games that hit 5. Now, again, that number might be slightly inflated because like Bowser's Fury, for instance, I have like 5 hours of gameplay, but I really only played it for 3.
Gotcha.
That also happened with, it was one of the other games. It happened with another one too where like my time went up a little bit higher than it should have. I don't know. I'm not seeing it on here. But yeah, so probably realistically I'm closer to like 47 hours, but 28 of my 47
is
were
one
in
game, yeah. So my longest game was 13 Sentinels. That took me 35 hours. And the quickest game for both of us, I believe, is quickest game for us that we beat was Streets of Rage 4 at an hour and 51 minutes. The Ascent is the least amount of time I put it, hour and 21 minutes, and your game was like your 27 minutes from Star Fox Zero. Larry, what do you think the highest rated game on this list is? According to Metacritic / OpenCritic / just reviews, because we did do a lot of older games, and Metacritic doesn't always track those.
Man, see, this is so just subjectively difficult for me because I could say it's clearly not my favorite game on the list. So what game normally score like? I'm assuming 13 Sentinels probably did pretty good. I see that game being like mid, maybe to higher 80s.
Do you remember what you told me Zelda was? Because you were the one that looked it up. Do you remember?
Wasn't that like an 89?
You are correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the hint? Is that the highest one?
Maybe.
Did you just give it away? I don't feel like there's a 90 on this list. So
you are also correct about that. There's 2 games at 89.
Okay,
Which ones are they?
So Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. I feel like 13 Sentinels is too niche. But maybe the reviewers like that. But I'm going to say no to 13 Sentinels.
Correct. You were right. It's at an 85.
Oh, well, that's really good. Nice. Man. I'm going to say it is Bowser's Fury.
You are correct. Nice.
Yes. Okay. And I couldn't remember if that game got an 88 or an 89.
Got 89. Yep.
Okay.
Now, that's a little bit subjective because we just did Bowser's Fury. Those reviews are not separated, but you'd have to deep dive into it. but it's great. Larry doesn't think it's great. I think it's fantastic, but whatever. What do you think's the lowest game?
I mean, it should be Star Fox Zero. What could have? I mean, Mega Man Legends, I feel like probably because it was so different, did probably pretty well.
Okay, so let's just talk about that game. It was not on a Metacritic. The second one is, but the first one is not. IGN gave it an 8.4 out of 10, and then GameSpot gave it a 7.2. So like an 81, 82, somewhere around there.
Well, no, because 7.1's like...
Yeah,
that's a range, actually.
78, maybe?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Ascent released with a ton of bugs. And actually, I think that as we're...
That's sitting at a 73.
73?
Mm-hmm. Open critic. I couldn't find a Metacritic of it.
Well, yeah, because as we're recording this, I'm pretty sure it's releasing pretty soon on the PS4 or 5 console.
Oh, I didn't know
that.
Yeah.
Lowest scoring. Zelda Minish Cap probably scored really well. Star Fox Zero.
It's the highest when we just did that.
Yeah, no, sorry. Star Fox Zero?
Yeah, so that's a 69. And I put an asterisk next to another one because Bomberman Hero, again, older, didn't make it to Metacritic. Probably about the N64 PS1. Like some games made it over there, but a lot of them didn't because Zelda's on there, Ocarina of Time and stuff.
This beer is actually really good, by the way.
That's good. So Bomberman Hero, the scores I saw, there's a 6 out of 10, another 6 out of 10, a 4 out of 5, a 6.7 out of 10. So that might be, when you calculate it out, might be lower than 69. Unsure, but...
So I actually kind of feel, that makes me feel a little bit better. My unjust hatred towards some of these games isn't completely unjustified.
Apparently very easy to please. So yeah, I'm probably in the minority about Bomberman Hero. I don't know. I just found it great in weird ways.
What is your least? I almost feel like picking my favorite is easier to deduce because it's the game that I actually at least recommend. What was your least favorite for the season?
Guess. Well, yeah, let's go. Actually, no, let's start. I'm going to guess your favorite game of the season, and I think it's Far Lone Sales.
Agreed, yeah. It is.
What is my favorite game?
I said agreed. Yes. Literally, my brain was like, yes, Larry.
What do you think my favorite game?
I mean, to me, there's two options. I think there's an obvious one, but I almost feel like it's 13 Sentinels.
You are correct.
Okay, all right.
But then I have right under this my favorite game. Bowser's Fury, Mega Man Legends, Zelda, Far Lone Sales, all like smushed together right below that.
Yeah, so yeah, my favorite was Far Lone Sales, as we just talked about.
Your least favorite is Star Fox Zero.
Yeah, it's not even close. Okay. Like, I literally despise that game. Like, that should not exist.
So what do you think my least favorite game of the season was?
I feel like there's two that pop up for me. It's either The Ascent or Quake.
No.
Oh, really?
Star Fox Zero.
Oh, Star Fox, you didn't like it either? I don't know.
I thought it was... I enjoyed my time with it, but I think it is probably my least favorite game on the list.
I love the way you say I enjoyed my time with it. I don't know why. Literally, my brain just said that out loud. Talking about the season, your intro for that one I really liked.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So there's an odd compliment I'll give you. Okay, so I guess my hatred of Star Fox Zero made me I just didn't pick up on, it wasn't, you didn't necessarily hate it.
Yeah, it's funny because I liked it, and I would say you picked up on right on Quake. I didn't totally love that. There's a lot of aspects of that game I really liked, and then The Ascent I was confused about would be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my episode probably didn't help that either.
Exactly. So I was just like,
that's a tricky one.
Yeah, which is fine. Your episode, it's our episode, but you were the one that beat it. Yes.
Well, I say our episode or my episode because that was the one that I probably talked all the way through the most. It's almost like that was my 13 Sentinels episode.
There you go. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing with The Ascent is just, in the fact that it's got a Metacritic score of 73 is probably proof. It's such a gorgeous game. It's just a lot of the errors within the game and the pacing and the map screw it up enough that it's just a hard game to recommend. It's like, go play it because the music is just amazing. The gameplay itself is fun, and the sound design is just on another level. But the counter to that is it's a problem that has its issues. So it's a weird game too.
So before we tell you our top 5 recommendations that are worth your time, Larry, what's your favorite box art of this season? Box art is fun. Take your time, pause this, Google all the games that we did this year. Did this season.
I actually had two complete opposites of each other. I'm gonna list two. I'll list one. I'll do one, and then you can do, and then I have another one. I can't pick my favorite between these two because they're completely opposite of each other.
Oh, okay.
So the one and I think it's because of how much it pops. I really like Streets of Rage 4. Like,
Yeah,
really like that one.
That's a good one.
And that says something because I typically don't like titles that just have a bunch of characters thrown on screen, which is possibly a shot at one of the other games on the list.
It could be a couple of Shadows of Adam.
13 Sentinels and Shadows of Adam.
Yeah. Rude.
Okay, here you. Do you just have like your favorite? I see you're scrolling right now looking.
Yeah, I've made a file of all the ones. Honestly, I think it's Quake.
Really?
Yeah, I just love the simplicity. It's just the symbol with Quake above it, and I really like the font.
You know, the thing that's weird about Quake is it shows you how different me and you are. I was debating between that being one of my least favorite, not favorite. It didn't make it, but it's...
Yeah.
No, the other one
simplicity is great.
Well, so speaking of simplicity, the other pick, if I had to choose, would be Far Lone Sales.
That's a good cover. Yeah.
There's just something. It's simple, but it's beautiful in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain.
And shout out to the side art on Zelda Minish Cap.
Yes, agreed.
The little logo is very cool.
That was actually one of the ones, like, there's something about the Zelda one that's really comforting, and I can't explain why, because I'm not a fan of Zelda.
Just
okay, least favorite.
Keeping the knife. Least favorite? I don't know if I really...
I have one that I hate.
All right, give it to me.
Mega Man Legends. I can't stand it.
Not a good cover art.
It's
That's
stupid.
For sure.
Like, it's there that you could have, and again, this isn't even a shot at the game itself. It's just you could have come up with something better. I hate the mascot just taking up the whole thing. I'm not a fan.
Doesn't Mario usually do that? No, actually.
But
I'm
also not necessarily saying I'm a fan of Mario box arts either. But
Super Mario 64's got a good box
Super Mario 64 is pretty good. I don't like Mega Man's here. That's my least favorite, bar none.
Yeah, I don't really. There's a couple that don't stand out to me, but Shadows of Adam, not the best.
It's bland. There's a couple
It's like good and bland at the same time.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Bomberman Hero is kind of fun. I love the bomb as the yo.
What do you think of the Sonic one?
I actually really like the Sonic one.
I looked at a different cover art clearly than the one that I know is the official one, so I was thrown off. So I'm glad we looked at this before we recorded.
Did you look at Sonic Adventure 2? Just not the battle
maybe
version?
It's literally just Sonic and Shadow.
Yep.
And the colors pop so much in that one that was actually one of my picks for my favorites. I replaced that with Streets of Rage 4.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. The Dreamcast one's great.
Really, really good. And so that would have been my favorite. But yeah, so I accidentally forgot to add in Battle.
It's all right. Happens the best of us.
Or the worst.
Touche.
But yeah, so I think overall, though, like, I'm going to make a statement that you probably won't disagree with. I don't think this is like a fantastic list of games with box art this season. This was not something I even thought about when we started the season, but now I'm very fascinated now that we basically, tease have finalized our list for season 2. I'll be curious to see what our thoughts are on this, if season 2s are better overall.
True.
But yeah, like, I don't think about box art because I buy digitally so much. But this is more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah, okay, good.
But I did realize there was quite a few just meh games on this list.
Box arts are hard to do very well.
Well, so it's becoming less and less of an art.
Yeah, that's also very true as well.
Though, you know what? I take that back because the box art basically has been replaced with like.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
The menu bar. Yeah. You didn't have to finish.
You knew what I was saying.
All right. So the culmination. Top 5 recommendations worth your time from this season. Number 5. Mine is 13 Sentinels.
I have 3.
So we'll figure this out. Mine is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim.
Okay, so I think I was almost debating not throwing this on the list because it's such a niche game.
Same here. That's why it's the lowest on my list.
But I think it's important we add it because this list is about our interests. And I think from that perspective, this list needs to obviously be our recommendation, but it also needs to kind of bleed a little bit of us. And the fact that I was also very interested in this game, I think is enough that it needs to be on. I was willing to throw it at 4.
We might do that eventually. So
give me another one.
Yeah, my number 4, is Zelda Minish Cap.
No. So before you even make your point, I'm going to say this. I'm aware that there is a large contingent of Zelda fans out there. I just don't get the games. But especially when I was looking at the rest of the games on this list, that was one of the ones I would be willing to accept. Because there's a lot of other stuff that I don't want to touch.
The only problem I have with this game, as of time of recording, there's only one way to play this game. That's on the Game Boy Advance or through the Game Boy or the Game Boy Player on the GameCube, which you still need the Game Boy Advance copy.
Is there not a PC port?
No.
I thought I could have sworn I read somewhere that someone modded it or something, but that's not
Probably
whatever.
illegally, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's emulation out there. Do what you got to do, whatever. Because it's an older game, they're not getting money from it anymore. That's a little gray area. I usually don't do emulation, but it's hard to recommend because this is getting very expensive. So when I bought it complete in box that might have been like 2015, 2016. I don't remember when I did. It was $90. The cart is like that much now.
Oof.
Maybe even more. So
That's tough.
if you like Zelda games, obviously you'll like it. That's actually not actually even true because it is different from a decent amount of Zelda games. So it's hard to say, yeah, I think it's definitely worth your time. Money factor is a little bit different.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's just hang that one to the side for a second.
Yeah.
And see if we can talk ourselves in or out of something else. I think Streets of Rage 4 was one of the ones I put on the list. Just, it's simple. It's quick. I mean, especially if you're on Game Pass, it's free. There's no commitment to it other than needing.
It's not free.
Okay, it's not free. There's a monthly subscription to it. Yes, I understand that. But $9.99 a month, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah. So I didn't have that on my list, and that's one I think could be there for sure. So my number 3 is Far Lone Sales. There is physical copies out there, but I think it's through a limited run, which I have, of course, because I can't stop myself.
Yeah,
but it's cheap. You can get it for $15 here in the States, but I'm sure you can find it cheaper on sales and on Steam and all that jazz.
So here's where my interest gets piqued because, I mean, I agree with that. I think it has to be in our top 5. It was my favorite one. It's completely different than any other game we have on the list, too.
Correct.
Because we do have a lot of... I noticed this towards the end of this. I think I said it in our last episode where we had a lot of that 3D, kind of that era game on there.
Early 3D, yeah.
So we definitely hit that. But the reason why I'm saying this gets interesting now is like we've named all 3 of the games for me that I had for my top that I wanted in our top 3. And one of them is potentially not going to be on, but we'll see. And that's Streets of Rage.
So what's your second?
So I literally in my list wrote 13 Sentinels, Far Lone Sales, Streets of Rage 4. I'm iffy, but I wanted one of the 2, and I can't decide which one is better. Quake, which you weren't a fan of, but there's enough in it that it's kind of a fun experience, or Bowser's Fury.
Bowser's Fury is my number 1. So.
so that'll go on.
And so why I say it's number 1 is I think that DLC expansion, whatever you want to call it, is almost impeccable. It's nearly perfect in my eyes. Larry thinks a little bit less, but you also, with that purchase, get a really solid other game, and that's why I think it's worth your time.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's cheating.
But, I mean, it is, but that's the only way, as of time of recording, that you can play it. So, I mean, you have to factor that in. You're going to pay more money for it.
Yeah.
Well, but it's just a great package.
No, and again, I would look at it this way. If I want to make the argument, especially if you're a parent, Bowser's Fury is it's probably not as good of a pick as like 3D World, because Bowser's Fury has, the giant scary Bowser in it. But it is a very kid-friendly game that is one of those examples where like you can just kind of enjoy it with a child, which I think that should be stated. I think as a parent, I probably would argue. I figured this was going to be on the list anyways.
Well, here's the thing. That's what's great about this podcast is, we're brothers. We grew up with everything, but we have different lifestyles. You are a parent, and that should be a factor into whether it's worth your time. Is it quick? Is it easy? All that jazz.
Well, and trust me, as a parent, you learn to enjoy the experience of playing games with your kid, even if you despise the games, because that is a regular thing with me. Spent a lot of time in different Zeldas and Marios. But okay, so I guess now we said 13 Sentinels, Bowser's Fury.
I didn't say my number 2. Bowser's Fury was my number 1. My number 2, you're going to hate me, is Mega Man Legends.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
I like this game so much. Here's the thing. I don't know why I love this game so much, because if I was to just throw out a number, I feel like it's a 7 out of 10 game, whatever. But
okay,
I love it, dude. I don't know what it is. I can't get over it.
Okay, so
now also another thing is I have no idea if this is available on the Vita or the PS3 store, so you need a PS1 copy. It's getting a little bit more spendy now, so
I almost feel like then because of that you have to decide between that and what was the other? Zelda. Like pick one of those 2.
It's super sad I'd pick Mega Man Legends, and I don't know why. I think Zelda is the better game, 100%. I just am enamored with Mega Man Legends, and I don't know why.
I mean, I'm kind of intrigued by
It's funny because we talk about worth your time, and then like favorite games. Like, this wouldn't be a favorite game. No, wait. It would be a favorite game. It's not the best game. That's a better way of wording it. I don't know why I like it so much.
No, again, but there should be something to that. I would be willing to then say, I think you take Zelda off and you put that one on.
Okay, cool.
So I think we both agree 13 Sentinels needs to be on here.
Yep.
Bowser's Fury needs to be on there.
Far Lone Sales
needs to be on there. And then we just said
Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Streets of Rage 4. Do you agree with that one? Compared to everything else on the list. And then Mega Man Legends. That is a very unique and weird top 5.
Yeah. So I put Mega Man Legends at 5, 13 Sentinels at 4, Streets of Rage 4 at 3. Sweet. And then I would say probably Far Lone Sales 2, Bowser's Fury 1.
Okay. Yeah.
Zelda right below that.
That's 6. Yeah, so then, just out of curiosity, then, so we definitely... could you, like, quickly name, like, your least 3 favorites?
Least 3 favorites. Quake, Star Fox Zero, and then it's funny, I'd probably either say Streets of Rage 4 or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which doesn't really make sense, but it does.
That works
listen to the episodes.
Yeah, oh yeah. And that's the thing. That's the key takeaway, right? Like, this season, I learned a lot about your taste in games. In that you basically like everything.
So easy to please.
Which is why, though, I'm fascinated going forward. Like, so like seasons 2, seasons 3, like the way that we've kind of built this up, it's going to be fun to kind of see if I can start poking and prodding and getting at least 1 or 2 of my own picks that I think you might not like. Because we didn't really get to hear that this season, and it might take a while. It could take a couple seasons until we find a game that you actually don't like.
It's gonna be next season.
Is it gonna be next season? Well, that's a teaser right there.
That's the end of the episode. So you would probably hear the outro music normally, and we'd have some clever wrap up, but I don't really have one. We're just gonna kind of talk about the making of season 1 and just in general. So if you want to hear about all that, well, stick around and give us a bit more of your time.
From our point of view, this has been a long time coming. I'm actually kind of shocked that we're sitting here recording this episode at this point because,
correct.
And for a little behind the scenes, we're recording this before even the announcement of a podcast is existing is even out. So we're roughly 3 months ahead of schedule right now, which is a cool feeling. We never had that with Games Gone, which again was our other podcast, and it's weird to me that this is working as well as it has. We struggled with this for a while. We've been talking for over a year about how can we make something work.
And we wanted to play to our strengths and play to our lifestyles and all that. And this really fit in nicely. And I really like how it evolved and how it became a conversation about the game. Yeah, we're reviewing it a little bit and we're talking about your time, but it's just a conversation between two brothers and who think very, very differently.
Well, and I think we'll continue, like with most things, we'll continue to get more efficient. We'll get better. The episodes will get more unique and cleaner. There's still a little bit of the, okay, have we hit everything we need to hit, instead of, hey, are we done talking? It's like there is a difference between that. We got to make sure we're not always forcing things sometimes.
Correct.
But, we had like a coming to Jesus moment for me. Like before we started recording this, like I had a big, I don't know if I want to do this sort of thing. I don't like where we're headed. And
it's because I just didn't talk to him for like 2 weeks about it, just so you FYI.
Yeah, well, and this was before we had started recording anything. But
correct.
I guess the big key takeaway is it is fun to see how this ends up molding and fitting between the two of us. Like we both are playing and treating this completely differently. And that was the big thing missing from Games Gone, was there wasn't ever okay, well, we can't talk about games that we don't like.
Yeah, because why do we want to spend that much time on it? And this gives us an ample opportunity to play multiple games.
I spent 27 minutes on a game this season.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Is that right to review a game? Yeah, I think so.
But in theory, though,
from a different perspective.
But in theory, I didn't. And I guess the beauty, and you stated this earlier, I didn't necessarily review the game.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't want to review the game.
That is a better way to put it, yes. And I think Why
did you like the idea of a season format, by the way? Because you were the one that pitched that.
Correct. And one of the main reasons is because we talked about it in our Welcome to Bits of Time a little bit. Me going to Japan, I still want to do that. And if I do any long-term vacations or stays in another country or whatever, traveling, this fits well because I can plan ahead. And I don't feel bad about missing a month here and there. With any other podcast, it's weekly. You have to be there. The news, whatever. This flows better with my schedule because my schedule is very erratic, is how I would kind of put it.
Okay.
And for future life goals of stuff I want to do too.
Speaking of, like, I don't know why this popped in my head while you were talking about that. This could have been something we actually did in the original beginning wrap up. Do you have a prediction on what episode you think does best?
No idea.
Like, right? There's a part of me that kind of wants to just guess to kind of see, but then again, I don't even.
I don't want to.
I have
Bowser's Fury. I'm just throwing
Bowser's Fury. I'm gonna say Shadows of Adam, not because it's my favorite.
Absolutely not.
Well, because isn't it the type of game that has a diehard fan base?
I have no idea.
Okay, well then maybe I don't. Maybe you know what? I'm gonna change my opinion then.
You should pick the probably obvious one.
The Zelda.
Yeah, that's what I would pick.
Yeah,
especially it's our first episode, so
Sure.
It has that going for it.
This will be fun, I guess. Paying attention long term, then where we head, because
from them numbers.
But yeah, outside of that, I think So we kind of figured out the format might switch a little bit, but the 3 months of season, the 3 months off,
feels good.
Yeah, and again, we're
supplementary episodes. Hopefully, go in there somewhere.
Well, okay, yeah. So that's kind of the thing too. I guess we're not going to just go completely silent on you after this, but don't expect you're not getting an episode every week. Maybe that could happen. We don't even know. I'm not promising anything. It's just we'll probably talk about E3 or whatever is happening around it since that's gone. But we'll probably give you some updates here and there. But yeah, season 2, we're going to be working on the games. We're working on the episodes, recording them, and excited to go on to those. But yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, we don't really have
we're trying to make this fit our lifestyles.
Yeah, and we don't really have a method to how we pick games. We just do. And we go back and forth. Sometimes we look at how long it takes to beat, obviously, because we have to plan ahead. Like, okay, if we're going to do a really long game, we'll get that? Yeah. Mainly it's on my side because I like to try and finish every game I play.
Well, yeah, but I think the reason this fits so well is this allows us to also enjoy games that are releasing as we are recording.
Yeah, Elden Ring rocks.
Elden Ring literally popped up out of the middle of nowhere, and it just took up.
Not the little of nowhere.
It didn't pop up. I'm saying it consumed a lot of my gaming time all of a sudden. So if all of a sudden a month from now we needed season 2 done, I'd be freaking out, and it wouldn't work.
Why another good reason why we chose this format is, I have a absurd backlog of games, and I want to get through those, but I also want to play modern games, and this is a happy medium between those.
No, agreed. And I think if we keep the schedule we do, it's 24-ish games a year.
That's pretty solid.
That's pretty good. It's not. It's double what we were doing for Games Gone. It works. I like it. You have any other last minute just kind of thoughts about? Obviously we're both excited. We're glad we're back to doing podcasts again. This is fun. I'm excited to hear what we get from kind of some of our friends and closer people in our lives, what their thoughts are if they listen to it.
And if you don't, that's okay. I don't.
Well, you're not even hearing this.
Larry still hasn't read my book, so that's fine.
Okay, well, that's shots fired. Okay.
Sorry. I wrote a book. Ayla, you should read it. MP Burger. Berger. No, I think one thing is the world's kind of crazy. There's a lot of crap going on, depending on when you're listening to this, or if you're 10 years in the future listening.
Who knows what's happened by the time this releases.
But I think it's okay to carve out a little space in your life where you find happiness. And if Larry irritates you, I'm sorry for that happiness disturbance of his weird opinions.
The weird thing is I think my not having beaten a lot of these games is what's going to irritate most people. Because my opinions that I have from the games that I've played on this list that I've only made it an hour or two into the game, I can understand that irritating people, especially if you're a fan of a game. If I'm a diehard fan of a game and someone doesn't get it, I don't let it bug me anymore. But when I was younger, I used to be like,
it's like if I beat Nier Automata just the one time, would you be mad?
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So there is that.
But I keep you to a different pedestal.
Yeah,
but no, so I understand that. But the point that we're trying to make is that's the whole point. Is I'm going to stop playing a game if I don't want to keep playing. And that's what I think will make this work, because then, for instance, 13 Sentinels is the type of game, I didn't beat it, but it interested me. So I wanted to poke and prod.
And that is the point of this podcast. Hopefully you find a game on this list that either wasn't on your radar or it's fallen away to all the glorious games that hopefully we're getting by the time this is coming out.
Freaking
And maybe
Zelda.
you'll want to revisit one of these games. And maybe you've never heard of Far Lone Sails because it's good.
Yeah, that's right. I got to jump onto Far Changing Tides too.
Yeah, exactly. So we got things to do, but carve out a little spot, listen to it, give us a review, whatever you want to do. I'm Matter of Michael on Twitter if you want to shout out to me, or Instagram. And Larry is Matter of Larry. So that keeps it simple for you. But yeah, let us know what games you think we should do. Maybe we'll put it into a future season. You never know.
Until next time.
You'll be hearing these lovely voices for season 2.